of it all, he's a great fighter and a great boxer and a power puncher in both hands. You don't stand in front of that man. You move. You stick.
40 pounds? You better watch out, dreadlocks. You better watch out, because we are come for you. Oh, sorry. It's my mother's tongue again. It comes through. You'd better watch out, because we're not playing. We're real, and we are a terror. And the procedure will be parliamentary. Rastafari.
That's what was fucking. Whereas mine was just off it, pulling out. Yeah. Straight lines. Or like, there's few adjustments that need to be made and we just work on it, you know what I mean? Constantly. Get it more shape. You heard him. That's it. Too tired though. That's it.
Stephen A. Smith warns Conor Benn not to fight Chris Eubank Jr. for a reason. Eubank's power isn't ordinary, it's punishing. Benn may carry heart, but heart alone won't save him against a fighter who combines raw strength with polished skill. Disregard that warning, and Benn could be walking into disaster.
Powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
That's Benn talking with raw emotion, but emotion won't win him this fight. Charging and reckless only plays into Eubank's strengths, precision, timing, and physical dominance. Benn's talk might sound tough, yet inside the ropes, that kind of brawling intent will leave him wide open for punishment.
I guess there's a lot of emotions on the fight. You know, so for me it was like, yeah, you know, going into the fight, that was my aim, was to hurt him. Right. And I hurt him. And that was my plan. That's, you know, I'm not going in there to you know, give him a cuddle.
And even Eddie Hearn admits there's a smarter way Benn must approach this clash. Eddie Hearn makes it crystal clear Conor Benn's fighting spirit is undeniable, but raw courage won't be enough against Chris Eubank. Jr. Benn's wild swings play right into Eubank's strengths. Without discipline and sharp tactics, Benn risks being systematically broken down by a smarter, stronger, and far more seasoned fighter.
You know, Conor Benn's Conor Benn. But I want him just to be a little bit smarter. We can't, like Nigel said, he's just winging away. And the heart's great, the balls are great, but you can outbox this guy as well. You're going to have to stand and fight because he's going to try and walk you down and be the bigger man. But just be a little bit smart with it.
Johnny Nelson points to Chris Eubank Jr.'s stiff legs as a potential weakness. But let's be honest, Eubank's timing, accuracy, and power make up for that in abundance. Expecting Conor Benn to suddenly overturn the result is wishful thinking. Unless Benn evolves dramatically, Eubank's superiority will remain the defining factor.
I do see improvement there for Conor, and I do think the results will be different the other way around in the next fight. I think it'll go the distance all over again.
And Adam Booth takes the debate further, analyzing exactly why Eubank's physical presence matters. Adam Booth highlights Eubank Jr.'s legs as the factor that prevented him from imposing his full physical dominance. Yes, Conor Benn showed guts by staying in there, but bravery isn't the same as control. Even without his legs fully underneath him, Chris Eubank Jr. still carried the sharper skills and dictated the tempo. That tells you everything. If Benn's best takeaway is simply, "I stayed in there," it's not much of a victory. Eubank wasn't at his physical best, yet Benn couldn't capitalize in a way that changed the fight. Adam suggests Benn improves in the rematch, but here's the harsh truth. Unless Eubank comes in flat again, Benn will be staring down the same storm, only harder and more punishing this time.
He couldn't box anymore because his legs weren't working.
Yeah.
He was throwing a lot of shots, but nothing had any real power or snap because he didn't have it in him. And so he couldn't force his size advantage on Benn.
Tony Bellew spells it out. This rematch isn't about stamina or sheer fitness. It's about mental maturity and composure under the bright lights. Chris Eubank Jr. has been through wars, boxed at world level, and knows how to handle the grind of a 12-round fight. Conor Benn doesn't have that experience. Plain and simple, it doesn't matter how hard he trains. You can't replicate those moments in sparring. The psychological battle is already tilted in Eubank's favor, and that's something Benn cannot fast-track. Bellew's blunt statement, "This rematch cannot happen," shows just how risky this is for Benn's career. If he rushes into it, he's playing with fire against a man who thrives on pressure. Eubank's composure is the dividing line, and that's why Ben is stepping into dangerous territory.
Not happening.
We don't know what stamina and what engine he's got in him. Really.
It's not about the stamina and the engine, it's more about the thought process and of gaining that experience of being there and doing it. Okay. It's like when you go into your first 12 rounder, no matter how fit you are.
Tony Bellew captures the rawness of this rivalry. Real pain, real risk, and real consequences. That's what makes Ben versus Eubank so intriguing. But here's the reality. Chris Eubank Jr. feeds off these high-stakes moments, while Conor Benn often fights with emotion rather than composure. Bellew is right. Everyone's bought into the fight because the drama feels authentic. But strip away the rivalry and you're left with skill versus reckless ambition. Eubank has honed his craft, weathered big nights, and shown he can handle the brutality of elite-level boxing. Ben may be fearless, but fearlessness alone doesn't translate into victory. It translates into punishment if he doesn't bring discipline. Bellew reminds us this isn't just hype, it's a genuine grudge match, and that dynamic gives Eubank an even greater edge mentally.
It's one of the worst pains you'll ever have. But listen, it's being done. Some find it funny, some don't. It's all part and parcel. When you get involved in these kind of things, you have to just accept it. And everyone's bought into the fight. We all know the drama, the rivalry's real. My greatest worry is these two boys don't bump into each other when no one's around.
Yeah,
because if they do, it's happening. 100%. It's worse than that, mate. It's happening.
Carl Froch then puts the rivalry into perspective, questioning what this fight really means for boxing as a whole. Carl Froch delivers the hard truth. This isn't a fight that changes world boxing, but it's a fight that defines careers. For Conor Benn, it's about proving he belongs at this level, though his first showing suggests otherwise. For Chris Eubank Jr., it's about shutting the door and saying, "I've done it twice and there's no debate." Froch's reminder that it's prize fighting hits the nail on the head. It's money, legacy, and bragging rights. But here's the catch. Only one of these men can truly gain from it. If Ben loses again, his stock plummets. If Eubank wins, he cements himself as the man who owned this rivalry, the fighter who backed up every warning. Froch frames it as business, but in truth, it's personal pride that makes this clash burn hotter than ever.
For me, it's a fight that probably means a lot less for boxing than what it does for the actual fighters. You know, the fighters, for them, there's a lot at stake. Conor Benn wants to overturn the decision. And Chris Eubank wants to cement the decision and say, I've done it twice. Bottom line is they're making big bunts, aren't they? Big dollar, and they might as well make money. These are prize fighters. We can't begrudge them making money fighting, because that's what they do. That's why.
Eddie Hearn speaks from a promoter's perspective, but his words highlight Conor Benn's biggest problem: discipline and respect for the sport. Ben often charges forward on raw emotion, ignoring structure and tactical awareness. Against a composed fighter like Chris Eubank Jr., that lack of respect becomes a liability. Eubank isn't just stronger, he's smarter, and he knows how to exploit mistakes ruthlessly. Hearn's claim that it'll be different this time may please Ben's camp, but the reality doesn't change. Eubank thrives on fighters who underestimate him. If Ben hasn't shown he can adapt in the first fight, what's magically going to transform him now? The notion of it being different suggests hope rather than evidence. Eubank is proven at elite level. Ben is still trying to prove he belongs. The contrast is night and day. When you strip away the talk, Hearn's words feel more like damage control than confidence.
This guy has zero respect for anything. And I hope people can see through it. Some will, some won't. But if you can't see them, that's a lot of what happened up there was just wrong. So listen, we go to work and we're in to win the fight. It's going to be different this time.
Barry Jones hits the nail on the head. This fight is more dangerous for Conor Benn than it is rewarding. The first clash took a heavy toll on him, and walking back into the fire against Chris Eubank Jr. will only multiply that punishment. Barry makes it clear, no matter who wins, it's going to be another brutal night, and in that equation, you still have to make Eubank the favorite. Why? Because even in a grueling fight, Eubank's durability, chin, and ring intelligence stand out. Benn, by contrast, relies on explosive bursts and emotional aggression, which fade over 12 rounds. The truth is, Ben gains little even with victory. Critics will say it was a fluke if he wins, and if he loses again, his career credibility takes a massive dent. For Eubank, however, a second win seals the rivalry and proves dominance beyond dispute. Barry is right. For Ben, this is a gamble with far more to lose than gain.
And so this fight can only harm him. because that was a hard fight, the first one. This one will be another hard fight, whoever wins, unless there's a real freak occurrence, not freak occurrence, unless someone gets caught with the shot really early, then it's going to be a hard night, which you still have to make Eubank the favourite again, like I did the first time. I mean,
Jack Catterall praises the spectacle, calling it one of the best fights he's seen, and even dares to back Conor Benn for the rematch. But while it's refreshing to hear a fighter give Benn some credit, the analysis feels more emotional than logical. Stopping Chris Eubank Jr.? That's a bold claim, and one that clashes with reality. Eubank has proven his chin, his toughness, and his ability to absorb punishment from bigger, stronger men. Benn may carry explosive power, but he's never faced anyone as resilient as Eubank under those lights. Catterall's belief in Benn is more about giving the underdog a shot than cold analysis. The truth is, if Benn couldn't break Eubank down in their first fight, when, as Adam Booth noted, Eubank wasn't at his physical best, what chance does he have in a second bout when Eubank is fully prepared? Catterall's words reflect hope, but the hard evidence points the other way.
You know what, it was an unbelievable fight. I remember watching it, one of the best fights I've seen. I wasn't there live. I'd like to get to this next one, but I think it's not going to be another great fight, and I'm going for Conor Benn for the win.
Do you believe he stops Eubank this time?
Definitely capable.
This fight isn't just about bragging rights, it's about careers. If Chris Eubank Jr. wins again, he doesn't just settle the rivalry, he stamps his authority as the superior fighter, proving the first result was no fluke. A second victory cements his legacy and silences the critics for good. But if Conor Benn pulls off the upset, it shocks the boxing world and rewrites his reputation overnight. Still, the gap in experience, composure, and ring IQ makes that mountain near impossible to climb. Eubank is calm, battle-tested, and thrives under pressure. Benn is fiery, emotional, and still unproven at this level. That's the difference. This isn't just a fight, it's a defining chapter in both men's stories. So tell us, are you backing Chris Eubank Jr. to close the book, or do you believe Conor Benn can defy the odds? Drop your predictions in the comments below.